Once you settle in, John, we'll look at your
Oh,
notes.
sorry.
Let me know when you'd like me to start recording.
Okay. Give him a minute in case he says he has to cuss about something.
Okay.
What's his name?
Wiley.
Wiley. Hello. Oh.
John, Wiley or Whitey?
Wiley.
Oh,
Wiley.
oh, okay, Wiley.
That's right. Okay. Ken? Good? Good? Sharon? We're ready to rock and roll. We did, because we had some technical challenges at the beginning, and by the time it was going to be really close to when you got here. So, I have a printed agenda in front of me. Staff, do we have any changes to make? Offer to that?
No.
Okay, then commissioners, like a motion to approve the agenda as presented. I know we're changing process, but
I'll second that.
okay. I moved. Sharon, I moved to accept the agenda. Chu seconded it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Josh? Thank you. Motion carries 5. Present in the room tonight, and normally not that to begin with. Actually, Commissioner Knox is online. The rest of us are present. Alternate Paula Duke will be a voting member tonight because we have been absent. So welcome again.
Thank you.
So we have a workshop coming up, review some chapters. We're going to open the session up for public comment here, or not about the town draft yet. We'll incorporate public comment on the draft as we review it. But if anybody online, since our room is empty, if anybody online has any comments, questions they'd like to present to the commission that aren't about the town plan, this would be a great time.
It's like Lorraine was.
Lorraine, you're up.
This is relevant to the town plan, so stop me if this isn't the right place. I just had a question about, I'm hearing a lot, all too often, struggles with single mothers and other people who want to live here, who are in the middle class, who can't afford to buy, and I see a lot of rentals being built, which, don't have a problem with that. I'm just wondering if we're going to try to quantify what a healthy rental to ownership model is for a town. Because I look at what people are getting paid in the town compared to what the rents are, and it's very hard to get. That's part of the problem with getting people to live here is they can't afford to live here on the paychecks that they're getting. And then also just I'm grateful that Paula got appointed too. It's wonderful to have an alternate. So thank you for that too. Thanks.
Thank you. So that sounds the question rental to rental to ownership model is something we can talk about tonight and just roll it in. I don't know we have an answer or anything at this stage, but let's see where if we can address that. Does anyone else have any comments or questions? Ken?
Just wanted to thank the Community Development Department for funding my attendance to the Chittenden Area Transportation Management Association Conference. It was quite an eye-opener, and I'm quite disappointed, actually. I don't know if any of the other members of the Planning Commission had the opportunity to go, but well, I wish one or two of you could have been there because it was quite amazing to see what our neighboring municipalities are doing in a very proactive way about planning. It feels as though we tend to be reacting, but I'm surprised to see that Williston and South Burlington, they have the horse and they're going for it. It's quite remarkable. It was a great opportunity. Thank you so much.
Okay. Anyone else at this point? Thanks, Ken, for the comments. Okay. So let's roll into the town plan workshop. So I think we'll go through this. Catherine, do we want to run through the chapters and then take some public comment? Or do you want to I think I'd like to go through what you've got prepared.
Okay.
And then we'll open it up for comments during the, from the public. But let's go through all that we've got. And so folks, if, please keep your notes on what section and so forth that we're looking at, and we can go back to it once we've gotten ourselves through. So Catherine, why don't you take us through the journey?
Okay. All right. So to start with the introduction, and you might notice comments and maybe in the draft that you were and that is because I recently had some interaction back and forth with the Regional Planning Commission, and they had
a few comments about the town plan, which I think I had mentioned to you that they're reviewing it for consistency with their regional plan. And consistency really too with the state. And I actually did get their formal review today saying that it did comply, but we had to add a couple things in to make it comply. So that is here. So consistency with the ECOS plan, just by way of explaining what the changes were. They're actually not highlighted here. I must have pulled up a wrong version here, but one of the things that they look at to see if we are proposing any future changes, any future land use changes, do they comply with how the Regional Planning Commission views our how they view our planning areas, or really the regional planning areas. So the ETC next plan, as you might recall, is changing or proposing some changes. And I think like the places where it sticks out is the corner of Old Stage Road and Route 15 is changing from R2 to mixed use north, which is a higher density. So that's really kind of the corner
that if you're towards
center, it's after Old Stage Road, kind of down to Essex Way, or close to Essex Way. The Regional Planning Commission considers that area suburban planning area, which is a lower density than the mixed use north would be. So at the end of the day, the changes here that are showing down line 189 to line 202, those three areas. So that's one of them. There's another R2 area that's where Saybrook condominiums are. So that's being changed to mixed use south. And then the Matthewtown Forest area all the way over to Jericho Road. So kind of, around where the public works offices are. Alderbrook goes through there. So that was changed through the ETC next plan to our open recreation district. And that had been R2. So anyway, so those are the three changes. Essentially how we comply or how we're okay with regional planning is to say that, we're making these changes. They're in very small areas. Especially the R2 changes, it's areas of growth. They consider that their suburban and our R2 to be pretty similar, but also the metro area, which is kind of what we're also feel like I'm not explaining this very well. We comply with them for the most part. Just densities are going up a little bit, and they don't have a problem with that. And the suggestion in here that I've written is to say the Regional Planning Commission should change their suburban to metro, and then we'll comply. And essentially we're just proposing a little bit of greater density in little bits of areas, so it's really not a significant impact anyway. So if that makes sense. So that's the language in here, and this is the language that the Regional Planning Commission accepted and said, yeah, you're good to go.
Okay.
And so we do have this section here where we say, do we comply with the regional plan? So it's important to make sure that that's accurate. So that is that. And what was here before was in the two 210 to 215, some language about saying that, hey, Regional Planning Commission, if we get our new town center state designation, we might actually be changing from metro to a center planning area, which is even higher density. And so should consider changing your regional planning commission. So that was there already. But the other stuff wasn't. All right, does that make sense? Like go on to chapter.
It's just that metro sounds like more dense. I mean,
Than
the
center.
word sounds more dense
know,
than
doesn't it?
center to us.
Right.
I think it's maybe a New England thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Okay, so now this is it also in chapter 1. So this is our action plan. These are 2 different actions or 2 new actions that you haven't seen. And so I'll start with actually the second one. So action 710. During our last planning commission meeting, there was discussion about how to add some language into the town plan about Native American history and existing culture. And so adding this action was a way of hoping to address that. And maybe I could make this a little bit bigger. So it says, make efforts to better understand the past and current influence of Native American culture in Essex and explore ways to acknowledge that culture. So there is also some language in chapter 3 in the historical resources section that points out that we don't know much and we should know a little bit more. So I'll show that to you when we get to chapter 3. Action 7.9, there was a discussion in the aesthetic resources section about, we have some great views, maybe we should think about burying power lines. So I thought, yeah, maybe that's a good action. So I added that in there. So, specifically along scenic corridors. And we did receive some public comment about that. I received a written comment about that. Okay, and so chapter 2.
One really quick thing for 7.9.
Yes.
Barry only has 1 R.
Oh, yeah. I just saw that, and I think.
Otherwise, I'm fine.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so chapter 2 has a few changes scattered here and there. Mostly there's so you have seen this one. This was in the draft in the history section.
What?
Chapter 2.
No, I mean.
Oh, what page?
Page 32, line 14, 13.
So it might be a little bit different because I'm looking at a Word version versus the PDF. But let me see if I can pull up the PDF.
Line is usually on 14. 1432. See where that results up to.
14.
Vermont 117 to Vermont Route 2A.
And that's you're in the right vicinity.
Might not have the right. I have so many versions.
Complaints from the peanut gallery.
Public comments overdue.
Unless it's about the town plan.
We're not there yet. Save it for later.
I'm just trying to get here to that PDF version.
Paul's got to print it, so.
Right, which should be corresponding with that.
What are we, what is the section that we're looking at? Just fine.
So it's the history of Essex section.
Historic background,
Yes, yeah.
this says line 31.
So 1348. 13. Go to 13. Oh. Try 13. Try 13. Okay, why don't you jump into, you find it and we'll keep poking around.
Okay, so this is what the online packet has. So establishing the first school district. I think we had a comment from the
Yeah.
Historical Society that they thought maybe adding a little bit about that would be good. And so actually Georgia took a look at this section and sort of decided that it seemed okay for how it was, but
Okay.
but added that to this. That sound about right. Yeah.
So what was added?
This in red, so this 1388.
1388. Your line is underlined. You're done.
This?
Yep.
Okay, so that's what was added, okay.
Right. And then the education section, so Josh had sent me his edits, but it turned out that it went to my quarantine file, so or folder or whatever, so I didn't see it. So, and I did notice what is in here. It's gonna switch back to my Word version. There were a couple things that kind of get left out. So I just want to make sure we're looking at the right chapter 2. Sorry, I have too many documents that we're looking at.
Okay. No, the clock's not ticking much. No pressure.
There are not really that many things that we have new tonight, so as soon as they get there,
So Wiley, that's all.
you've got places to do, things to see.
I think so.
Let's see, education is in-
Give me that look. It's kind of running holes in that.
Oh, there it is, okay. Oh, as long as we're on education,
Yeah.
I think there's a word missing.
Yeah, so that is why I'm looking at this version. So this is somehow with the editing, the right things, there were a couple things missing. So this version should
It was
be
page 50,
so
it should be an
yeah, so I hope this is showing the correct things, Paula, here, the version that we're looking at up here.
I don't know, wait a minute, where are we? Was,
So this is, I went back and just looked at what Josh had provided and
actually, I've got town center roads, that's where I was making the correction. Which is line 1941.
in the education.
Well, it,
It's taxing you. What we should.
no, it would have been under transportation, I just screwed up it was under upcoming transportation improvements. It wasn't education, it was, I circled the wrong thing.
Okay, so we can go back to that.
Let's finish
Finish
education
education.
since we're.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Sorry
essentially,
about that.
no, that's okay. Essentially, I think what Josh did was try to streamline a little bit, just take out some of the language that is a little too, what was the word we used, Josh? He said boostery. Boostery.
Boostery. It was too boostery before.
Yeah,
Without the hot dogs.
no, it's better with the rest of the plant. The tone of the rest of the plant. Yeah. Okay. So that's that. So it didn't really change any, data or whatever. It's just that the wording was switched around.
Streamlined.
Streamlined. Yeah. Okay, so going back to transportation, since we're in chapter 3. You said there was future improvements.
Page. We get to where I was. So it was line 1941. Town Central Roads is the last sentence. As an official map is a requirement of the state designation.
My numbers might be a little bit
Well, your number here, 1941.
bigger.
Right there. So 1988, end of that sentence.
It's there now.
Here we go.
Okay.
Like magic.
It's magic. Okay, anything else in 2 that we need to call out?
No, not 2. We can go on to 3.
Just 1 to 3.
Okay. The little Zoom headline thing is in my way. Okay, so, all right, just trying to wrap my head around 3 here. So I think this is the history section that I was talking about.
Did you get feedback from the RPC on any of this?
Not on that. They did have a couple little things about the zoning map and how it related to the 2014 town plan zoning map. There were a couple changes there. So that is actually included in this, so I'll point that out. But otherwise,
I have a note on mine, the Vermont Planning and Development Act.
yeah, or that right there. I don't know. if
Is that
that's it.
supposed to replace historic architectural and cultural resources, or
What line are you looking at?
82? There were 2 stars. They're the last 2 lines under how we relate to the land.
They're at the very end.
Yeah. Says historic archaeological and cultural resources. And then on that line is written in the Vermont Planning and Development Act. And then there's a star next to line 83, land use and development. So I don't know, I guess clarification would be helpful.
I'm not sure I'm looking at. So do you mean in the historic resources?
Can you go to the
section?
document section, Paula? You go actually to the section, not just from the content, table of contents.
Page 66 is what you.
Well, find the line number in the actual document in the words, if it's placed in the printed document.
I just lost the original. There it is. See, that's,
Yeah, but we need to find it in the document so we can context where.
so this was under. It's the next to last. I gotta keep going here. Historic, archaeological, and cultural resources. You know.
Maybe while you're looking,
Aesthetic resources.
I mentioned there was some additional language. This related to the Native American settlement.
Yep.
So pulling in here some language that we had in the historic background of Essex. So that's the first part of this 2995. And then this,
Okay, I found it.
and then this-
Line 2980. A village center, state designation. And the other thing that's got a red bracket around it is line 2974 and 2975. So that's what relates to the thing in the index.
the page is what's the
And it's on page 83. In the printed document, it's page 83. It's the first one is a bracketed to one sentence. 2974 and 2975. You're too far.
Oh, this map, it's coming up.
That's because you're way ahead. Was 2970.
Forget the numbers right now, we know we're in the general area.
Oh,
I think
okay.
There's a difference between the numbers. On
because
that.
I added.
I'm not up to speed.
Yeah, no, that was new language that got put in today, so,
I think you're almost there.
okay.
Right there. That's what she's talking about, as many other historic structures. Right, Paul?
Yeah, line 3027. At the end of that line and 3028.
Yeah, and then if you go up, you were referencing those.
Yeah, right.
So what's the
yeah.
question? The village.
I was just pointing out that I had notes there that were in red.
Okay. So that is
So that was a note to be done and now it's done.
Oh, you had notes on it from the last time, is what you're saying. Yeah, so you've gone through and made those changes
That we talked about last time.
Yeah, so they should be in there, unless
Okay.
you see that they're not. there's
the
no
one
difference.
of the things, is this the copy from the last meeting? And that might be the challenges that we're looking at the next, the new copies.
This is the one that you, yes.
And that didn't have the changes that you put in from the RPC, or is that?
No, it didn't.
Okay.
No.
So that's kind of where we go each as we have this, and then we have some of the new things that come in. So, okay, good.
I will get another copy at some point.
Yes, well, after tonight, assuming it goes as sort of expected, is that you will warn the public hearing, and so there'll be no changes made. There'll be the final
Okay,
draft
got that
version
part, yeah,
that you'll have
yeah.
for your public hearing. And after that public hearing, or during the public hearing, you can make changes based on public comment or whatever, and then there'll be a new draft that will get sent off to the select board.
So, what that was the basic change in section 3, is that addition, correct?
That and a little bit again from the Regional Planning Commission and talking about, I think I mentioned the zoning
Yeah.
changes. So the 2014 zoning map versus the 2007